Hi, my name is William David Gamble, and this is Kellogg's Quality Management of Raw Materials in the Supply Chain for BA 339 Operations and Quality Management, spring of 2014 for Portland State University. Today we're going to look at a brief history of Kellogg's, the current state of the supply chain structure, a competitive analysis between Kellogg's and General Mills, Kellogg's top competitor in the breakfast industry, measures of quality control for raw materials of Kellogg's. I'm going to make a few recommendations for Kellogg's, and we'll just look at briefly at a conclusion of maybe what Kellogg's future looks like. Kellogg was found in 1898 by two brothers who failed in an attempt to make granola, but instead flaked wheat berries, which led to the invention of cornflakes. Early in the 20th century, Kellogg made several decisions involving nutrition for their customers. This includes creating all-brand cereals and being the first company in the food industry to hire a dietitian. In addition to cereal, Kellogg's produces many recognizable breakfast brands, like Kellogg's Eggos. The logo for Kellogg's is also a testament to their commitment to quality control from the beginning. From the very first box of Kellogg's cereal that was packaged, co-founder William Keith Kellogg knew the product was good enough to put his name on it, and that's what he did, with his signature. Today, this signature still stands for the concept of quality and consistency. The current state of the supply chain. Currently, the industry is facing tough economic challenges along with a shift in the way consumers are eating. Many people across the industry have lost jobs due to streamlining attempts to clot revenue bleeds. Alternative breakfast products such as Greek yogurt are making their mark in the breakfast sector and stealing shares from cereal giants. In certain global areas, such as Japan, the consumer is getting older, reducing the market size for cereal, targeting children. With obesity rates becoming a concern in our country, the cereal industry is attempting to adjust attitudes to focus on the healthy values of their breakfast products. Kellogg is currently in the second phase of a new supply chain launch. Previously, they worked under a lean system model. They are now committed to what they call moving from lean to organizational fitness. This project is called Project K. In an unfreeze, correct, and refreeze structure, their new system focuses on the right to play, right to win, and right to lead. This strategy is built to refocus on the fundamentals, support business growth, and create end-to-end supply chain solutions. The rollout will be complete in 2016, with a focus on creating a supply chain that enables an increase in gross margins while maintaining high employee and food safety standards. Kellogg's hopes to become a pioneer with their new system. Other system focuses are in sustainability, talent development, expanding customer logistics services, and improving in supply chain IT. Kellogg's biggest competitor is General Mills. While General Mills falls second to Kellogg in the breakfast cereal category, General Mills is a slightly larger company overall. General Mills is also in the midst of changing their supply chain model, although less procedurally. Tom Andel of MHL News sums up the 2013 General Mills Global Responsibility Report, which talks about a four-phase strategy the cereal company is implementing to improve the sustainability of the raw materials in the supply chain and reduce their water usage. This strategy includes an assessment of current materials, a strategy formation, transformation, and a monitoring phase. The report itself streamlines their process to simply being farming, transforming food into ingredients, converting ingredients into products, shipping, selling, and then consuming. GM's change in their water usage may be linked to some recent events in Minnesota. General Mills found themselves in trouble with the state of Minnesota for issues with gas vapors in their groundwater systems. The company was compliant with working with the state to resolve the issues. This also explains the company's need to focus on increased food safety in the 2013 Global Report. Now let's look at some software in the supply chain for both companies. Kellogg's currently uses a Honeywell RF barcode scanner system to help track its automated supply chain, as seen in the picture here. These scanners are handheld or mounted and send information remotely to Kellogg's Unix-based warehouse management system, according to Paul Brown, IT Senior Analyst at Kellogg. Kellogg also works with Terra technology to use software that helps them forecast demand. Using internal and retailer data, Terra was able to increase Kellogg's demand forecast accuracy by 40% in a short period of time. General Mills uses technology to bind its relationships with their partners, with the goal of having the technology reach their customers across the digital platform of their partners. They call their program G-Win. Through open innovation, General Mills has connected with thousands of innovators, helping them generate ideas to create new products and procedures. And in a competitive conclusion, the amount of capital each company has allows them to maintain their position in a mature marketplace. Both companies face challenges due to economic and regulatory changes. These challenges have encouraged Kellogg's and General Mills to change the way they think about their supply chains and practices of sustainability. Being sold in a retail environment also requires the consumer to have a pleasant interaction with a well-managed staff in the touchpoint environment. Now let's talk about quality controls for raw materials. And the rest of this will be focused specifically on Kellogg's. Kellogg's put out a quality assessment in 2013 that outlines the requirements their suppliers must meet. Part of that agreement is the supplier must document and manage the systems to prove they are maintaining quality standards, and they must also meet Kellogg's Code of Conduct and labor standards. Suppliers must also meet the rigorous demands of safety measurements in the food industry, including Global Food Safety Initiative standards. In addition to grain, Kellogg's must also maintain standards for cocoa suppliers and packaging suppliers. We're going to focus on Sections 2 and Section 5 of the Supplier Quality Requirement Guides. Section 2 of the Quality Assessment is written to set guidelines for the fundamentals of quality and food safety that a supplier must meet in order to work with Kellogg's. The highlights of these requirements are internal sanitary designs, from the physical storage of items to personal hygiene practices of the workers. So, for example, all the buildings must be structured so that the traffic of the trash doesn't come near the production and process of the raw materials. Even the forklifts and handheld trucks used to move boxes of raw food ingredients must only be used for these ingredients. These steps and the hygiene steps are in place to stop the cross-contamination of bacteria, which is really important anytime you're handling food. You don't want the diseases on one product to cross over and become a disease on another product. Another step in Section 2, and perhaps the most important, the supplier has to be able to record and monitor the lots of raw material. This way, if a recall is needed, they can isolate the lot that was used in the production, and they don't have to stop the complete production of the Kellogg cereal. So if they find out that a supplier had a case of bad grain, they just find out, okay, well, maybe it's only isolated to a certain number of shipments of the grain, and they have all the ability to track it, know specifically what not to use, and what they still can use. So Section 5 is about the security measures a company must meet in order to work with Kellogg's. These measures are in place to ensure that food items aren't tampered with and that they are transported safely to Kellogg's. Background checks of employees and adequate measures of creating tamper-evident sealing systems are critical to the expectations needed to meet and become a supplier for Kellogg's. So basically, their packaging needs to have something that if Kellogg's receives it, it's visible that, oh, this was open before it got to us, and then they would throw that product away if it was. Now let's talk briefly about the service blueprint for Kellogg's. After Kellogg's processes the raw materials into cereal, nutrition bars, or other breakfast goods, they ship their product to the consumer, mostly via grocery stores. Once it reaches this part of the process, the items are out of Kellogg's control. There are a handful of possible fail points that arise. The customer may not be able to find the aisle breakfast cereal is in. The shelves are possibly unstocked. Customer service is too busy to help the customer find the Kellogg's product they are looking for, or perhaps the flow of the processing customers at the register is bottlenecked and the consumer decides not to make their purchase. While some of these fail points are rare to occur, it is clear that most of the fail points are related to poor customer service or poor management of the grocery store operations. Here are my recommendations for Kellogg's moving forward. I think overall that the Kellogg's company is a leader in the food industry when it comes to maintaining high quality standards for the production and distribution of raw materials. I do see opportunity on the end market level. Spending money in the grocery stores to build advertising displays and to secure shelf space and be visible to all customers will help possible fail points to occur in stores. I see opportunity in expansion. General Mills has found success in non-breakfast products as pizza, pasta, and ice cream. Yes, General Mills runs the famed Haagen-Dazs. So why can't Kellogg's move into these markets? Kellogg's has the capital, and with their focus on sustainable quality, they could teach General Mills a thing or two. In conclusion, Kellogg's name has been a name in kitchens for over a century. Now, just as back then, the image of quality is represented by the signature on every box. I'm curious to see how Project K turns out and if it becomes a supply chain model incorporated by other companies, the same way Toyota and Lean Systems did. As technology advances, as long as Kellogg's continues to adopt and adapt, they will maintain their status at the top of the breakfast cereal platform. And by maintaining the same quality food standards they use for all their raw products, I can see a future where Kellogg's enters the lunch and dinner sections of the grocery aisles too. Like, for example, pictured here is a pizza that's made in Kuwait at Pizza Hut that uses cornflakes as part of the crust. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to see this in grocery stores in the US in the future. Thank you.